What is going on, everybody? JT Best Ball here, Sunday night. Hope you guys are doing well. We got a big show tonight. We're going to do one draft. After the first draft, I got an announcement for you guys. It's something we are going to start doing every Sunday night. You'll want to stick around for it. I think it will be pretty interesting for all of you guys, for the fans. JT is a man of the people, as they say. Tonight is challenge night. There was 3 challenges that I thought were worth doing so that we could pull them off and at the same time still have a decent team. There was a 4th one, but it was super flex specific, so we left that one out. Super flex is closed. Let's hit the intro and we'll get to what they are.
I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
What is up, everybody? Kyren Williams was the deep dive for tonight. You guys know my new thing I'm doing. Any of my videos that are not currently live anymore, preferably one of the last ones, so it's easy for me to see, get the notification for. If you leave me a comment in the comment section with what player you would like me to do a deep dive on, that is what we will do. So for today, it's Kyren Williams. Told you guys I would say the percentages. I have wrote it down here. I didn't have time to make a little banner for it. I apologize, but I have right at 6. I have 5.9% Kyren in all types of regular tournaments. I have 8.1% Kyren in the eliminator. I like him. I know some people aren't as into him. I probably, if I had to answer my own poll question, by the time it's all said and done, I kind of see myself being more than 9% on him. Especially, with the research that I was doing. We'll get into it. It's just like you guys know how I feel about Bucky. You heard me on when it was me and Chris and Hartman all together and Bendels. I'm zero Bucky. I have my reasons why I don't want to draft Bucky. I'm sure I'll end up getting a share of him at some point. Somebody will talk me into taking him. But you can get, Kyren 13 picks past. You can get him past Jacobs. You can get him past Chase Brown, who I don't know. I'm not really that into Chase Brown this year. I mean, I was really into him last year, and I feel like right now we are kind of paying for what his absolute ceiling could be, and there's not really much upside, I don't feel like, with Chase where he goes. I feel like it's either he barely pays it off or he wasn't a good pick. So I don't know. I haven't been super into him. Part of when I was looking, let's go through this a little bit first, I guess. So I told y'all on the last one. Shout out to Who Hames. I see him using the player profile page a lot. I always tell you guys, I am just a raw stats guy generally. I don't like look at a lot of the perception reception stuff, and I'm not smart enough to get into the analytics and some of the stats nowadays. They just get it too over the top for an old school guy like me, I guess. I like to go off straight eye test for the most part. But I'm trying to learn to use this player profile page. Like I noticed when I was looking the other day, the speed score, it kind of takes into account their weight and stuff like that. Looks like he was ninth. I'm taking it. Somebody tell me, because so like when it says 83 was his score and he was ninth, I'm assuming that means out of his draft class for running backs. Um, if somebody's in the chat who uses this site a lot, help your boy out. Let me know what all they mean exactly. Like I'm assuming the burst score, he was 20th as far as running backs. He's been in the league a couple years though. We already know what he is as a player. Um, Obviously, he was a league winner for a lot of people in 2023. He had the 21 points per game. Last year, even though he had almost 100 more touches, only a 150 more yards or so, only one more touchdown. But a whole the how the whole offense is doing sometimes can have a big effect on that, right? And what I mean by that is, I know specifically there was a few games when I was doing my research, there was a few games at the beginning of the year, especially where like I want to say Cup and Puka were out for a couple games at the same time. And they both missed a few games. I think both of them, when I was looking, played like 11. One of them played like 11 games. One of them played like 12 games, I think. Talking about Puka and Cup. Kyron played like, 16 of the games. Their offensive line this year is expected to be better. So I don't know if it'll be tonight because we got a lot going on tonight. It's already going to be a big show for you guys. But sometime soon, I'll go over some work. You guys know I tell you on Saturdays, that's my work day. I just do a lot of research and look over my exposures and things like that. But one of the things that I did last night was I wanted to kind of see some correlation between offensive lines and defense for specific teams. So what I did, because I'm not an O-line guy, I don't really know, a ton myself about O-lines, but I did some research. I found 4 different sites that had a full 1 through 32 team ranking of the offensive line this year. All of the ones I used had a little write-up on some of them, so I could tell by some of the stuff they were saying or projected lineups that it was pretty up to date. It included free agents that came in. It included the Lions losing their center. And I took those 4 offensive line rankings. I wrote them all down, what rank each team was, and then I averaged them out to rankings, kind of an aggregate or whatever of all 4 of those. Then, for the Rams this year, most of them were fairly high on them. They have them ranked, ninth. I believe, let me look at my list. Yeah, they had them ranked ninth. Their run blocking should be pretty good. I forget if it was a guard or a center. One of them had a good little write up about like the guard or the center that came over to the Rams this year. He's supposed to be an upgrade. So I don't know. As far as Kyron's concerned, I'm going to say I'm in on him. He's not a guy that I want to be super, super high on. Like, I know Jarquez Hunter is there, and some people are super, super high on him. Shout out to, I think, my boy Hartman. I think he's super in on him. And I like Kyron. I think he's still going to definitely be their goal line back. He's going to be in there still, some catching passes. Will Jarquez Hunter get in there a little bit, for some explosive plays or some pass down work? Sure, maybe, but it's not like, Kyron was a guy that we're drafting because he's just this exceptional pass catcher. So overall, though, I would say I'm in on him. I think he's a good pick, where he goes. Let's just look at him real quick before we actually hop into a draft. Let's do rankings, running backs. Like I said, he goes basically right here around Brees. I like Brees too a lot. Cook, you can get, kind of a little bit right after him. Hampton is there too. Hampton, you got to worry about Najee. How much work is Najee going to eat up into? So I think he's a fine click where he's at. Let me see one thing real quick. Okay, I got that loaded up. Let's go see who all popped in. What's up, who? We just shouted you out. You're the one who I see using the player profile, all the profiler page all the time. So I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to learn it. Maybe tomorrow afternoon you can walk me through it. What's up, Mark? Good to see you in here. So this is how we are going to do the challenge tonight. I had said at one point we were going to just draw them out of a hat, but when I went through and started getting them all together and stuff, there was really only like 4 total that were, doable. thought would be fun to do on stream. One of them was about a super flex. Actually, there was 5. I take that back. But Hartman gave me 2 of them, so I just took Hartman's best idea. So here's how we're going to do this tonight. I'm going to do all 3 for you guys. That $4 tournament, the Chihuahua they got, it's filling up super quick. It probably will be full sometime tomorrow. I'll probably have to increase my slow draft exposure just to get some more of them in. It's looking like we have an extreme 0 RB build. Why is that not showing up? Oh, there it is. Never mind. I'm tripping. We have an extreme 0 RB build. It was submitted by our boy Doc79. And he says that basically no running backs until the 11th round. That is my only rule and my only stipulation. That one will be easy to do because I'm going to do it. I'll wait till my 11th round before I take any running backs. The other one we are going to go for is from Dirty P. He said a 10 wide receiver build. I have an idea for that. I actually did one a long time ago when I first started streaming, just messing around and trying something different. And I'm going to try that same approach with it, I think. And then Hartman's was a rookie and sophomore team. He specifically said to have 9 to 10 of the 18 players be only rookies or sophomores. You're welcome, my man. That was my take on him. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm in on him. I don't want to be like a flag plant, my guy. I don't think you'll see a my guy clip for him. We'd like to be maybe 10%, 12%, somewhere in there. But so how I'm gonna do these challenges, because I want to still obviously make the best teams that I can, is I'm gonna start this first draft right now. We'll talk about it as we do it. If any of you guys want to hop in it, make it even more challenging for me. We're jumping into 20-second Chihuahua in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopping in that bad boy now. And it's snap field, so I apologize if you were trying to get in it. You know how these things go. It might be full sometimes tonight. They are just cramming this thing. So what I am going to do is I am going to start the draft off having my 3 in mind, the rookie sophomore, the extreme 0 RB, and the 10 receiver. I want to see, let's see, where are we at 9? So for this first one, being that we're pick 9, I don't really like Genty here, so we'll see if like we can get Neighbors in the first round at 9. Then we'll probably go ahead and try to knock the rookie and sophomore draft out first. If not, like if CMC falls or something, maybe we'll take CMC and we'll make this one the 10 wide receiver build. As soon as we make our first round pick, we will kind of know which way it is going to go. I don't think this one will be. I want to try to, hopefully in one of these next couple, maybe the next draft, we want to kind of get an early pick, like top 4 or 5 pick, to try the 10 wide receiver team, because we have a really specific build in mind that we would like to try for the wide receiver team. Yeah, these are crazy, man. They're filling up so freaking quick, dude. Sorry about that. We're drafting 3 of them tonight, so if you want to hang around, Mark, for the next one, maybe we can get some better luck. Let's see here. We're either going, like we said, with Neighbors or maybe CMC. If I get CMC, I can do the 10 wide receiver build. I just didn't think he would be there. I'm assuming he will probably go. And I think we're probably going to save the extreme 0 RB build for our last one, simply because we know we can get a receiver. I mean, we know we can get a receiver in the first round. So we can just take receivers and just keep pushing running back and keep pushing running back. So rookie and sophomore it is. Since we went with Malik and Neighbors first, makes kind of sense to go ahead and do the week 17 thing. Unless Genty falls. If Genty falls, I'm not super high on Genty. Only got 4.2% of him right now. But if he was to fall here, we could go ahead and take him because I already have plenty Bowers, but he did not fall. So we're going to go ahead and do a Brock Bowers team. So far, we are on track. We have 2 sophomores. There wasn't any specifics as far as how many could be rookies versus sophomores. The challenge he gave me was simply to have 9 or more on the squad. And that is what we will try to do. Thank you guys for stopping in tonight. What's up, Hartman? We're doing your rookie and sophomore challenge. It's challenge night. I wanted to see who my first round pick was. Neighbors was there, so we took Neighbors, backdoored it with Bowers. We're off to a good start with the first 2 picks. We're going to try for 10 of them, at least 9 of them, like you had said, because we want to complete the challenges. We might sacrifice the team a little bit just to complete the challenges. If you are here, stick around. After this first draft, I have a pretty fun announcement for you guys. It's kind of going to be something that I'm going to start doing every Sunday night for you. And I think y'all will enjoy it. Yes, that is true, Hartman. That is true. And the rookies this year, there's so many rookie running backs this year, some good rookie receivers. I actually don't think this one will be too difficult. We'll see. It's a good little warm up. The 10 receiver one's going to be tough. I have a very specific build structure in mind that I think I pulled off pretty well before when I tried it, just trying it way before someone gave it to me as a challenge. Let's see here. I wouldn't mind Devontae, but he just went. My boy Lamar just went. Why not? We can make a small little detour. We got a few extra picks to work with. Let's get the man. Today's deep dive, Kyren Williams. Only right that we throw him on a team. And being only a few picks away, we kind of have our eyes on Ted or Daniels. Go ahead and get that third of the 9 locked in if they come back to us. We know JSN is there, but you guys know I am out on him because of his wonderful quarterback that he has throwing him the ball. I'm going to pass on Jaden simply because Ted is another receiver and he's a rookie. Maybe we should have went Jaden, but I know there's a lot of other quarterbacks, kind of like Hartman was saying. Not really that many rookie quarterbacks that we would like to go after, but as we get later, we have Bo Nix, we have Caleb. We can maybe even put some Drake May in there. We'll figure it out. But so far, we have 3 of the minimum 9 locked in through 4 rounds. So we're feeling pretty good about it. How'd you guys' weekend go? Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. The actual 4th of July and Saturday was pretty chill. All weekend was pretty chill, really. Saturday, we actually got a lot of cleaning done around the house that we've kind of been putting off. And then my wife's friend came over and we ate some good food and stuff. Today, I took my youngest daughter, who's a super huge. Hold on, let's get through this pick. Mm, let's go Rome. Why not, right? The more rookies and the more sophomores that we get early, the more flexibility we will have later. So that is kind of my plan, stack them up early. That way we can have a little more flexibility later. See how the team turns out. All right, coming back around here. Is there anybody? Let's see. Did anybody even make it in here with this? Do we recognize any names? Don't recognize any of the names, but if you happen to make it in this draft and you're in my chat, let me know. We'll shout you out. I know a couple of you tried, but got pushed to the overflow room. It instantly filled as soon as I clicked on it. That happens with some of these that fill fast. What do we want to do here? Let's go Travion. I'm not super in on him myself. I guess maybe I'm a little more in on him than I think because I have 7% of him. I don't know. Here lately, I've been drafting Ramondre over him. He's just so much later. Travion's explosive, though. And he's a rookie, so he fits the bill. 5 of our first 6 picks we fit the criteria with. We are rocking and rolling. I think we are going to knock this one out. What's up, my man? Good to see you in your creations. We are doing a Chihuahua. We're going to do 3 Chihuahuas tonight. About a week or so ago, well, 2 weeks actually, right before I went on vacation, we had hit 100 subs. And I told the chat I was doing a draft challenge night. Some people left me some fun little challenges in the comment section. So that is what we are knocking out tonight. I've been owing it to the chat. Tonight is the night. We started the first round and wanted to see who we got. Neighbors was there, so we picked him. And we're going with the draft 9 to 10 rookie or sophomore players, which was the challenge that friend of the stream, Hartman, laid out for me. Speaking of which, if y'all don't know, Hartman Fantasy Football, he has his own channel. He doesn't really have a set schedule, I don't believe. He just kind of pops on when he feels like it. But you could catch him on a lot of other people's streams too. He is a ball knower. Love talking to him. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I think we're going to grab Diggs. I know before y'all say it, I got a bunch of week 14 guys in my receiver room. The money isn't won in week 14. We're okay. Calm down. Let's see. Don't think we really want to do a quarterback just yet. Trying to set some stuff up for later. Not really super in on Ibuka. We're on the clock though, so we have to pick somebody. We'll go Mooney. We do need some wide receivers who are not in week 14. So we'll take Mooney. Gives us another quarterback who fits the challenge build. Who Hames, I know you're not a bye week, bro. Get out of here. Oh, today I started to talk about it, and then we got sidetracked. I do that sometimes. My wife says I have ADHD that was never diagnosed. Who knows? Maybe I do. Um, I took my youngest daughter to see the new Jurassic Park movie today. If any of you guys have seen it, if you haven't, I won't give any spoilers. I enjoyed it. I it's funny, I wasn't a huge fan of it way back in the day, the original one, but my youngest daughter has always super loved dinosaurs, and so once she was kinda old enough, she saw the Jurassic Park, and it's kinda become our thing now. We watched the other one together, the one they made a few years ago, so we went today and watched it. W we watched it in some kinda new type of theater thing they have by us. Is not IMAX, but it's not regular. It's like some kind of Dolby experience or something like that. And supposedly the screen is a little bit crisper and the sound is pretty cool. Like your chairs kind of vibrate and stuff when the dinosaurs are roaring and stomping, all that good stuff. Let's see, what do we want to do here? We have 5. If we run out of options, we could grab Tracy. No, you know what? Let's get our first quarterback. We have Rome. So let's take Caleb. Believe that gets us up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Bowers. I think we're going to complete this mission. But it's a good movie, though. It's interesting. It has a good little story to it. Some craziness at the end. What did you guys do, though? Anybody do anything exciting this weekend? We kind of took digs on purpose, setting this up. And we are rocking and rolling, boys. That is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far players on our squad that are rookies or sophomores. Still have plenty of picks to work with. I think we are going to knock this one out the park. Mark says he enjoyed it also. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Oh, dude, at the end. It's kind of interesting creature. Found it works best to start a draft at an exact time, not a countdown. We'll try that, my man. Thanks for the suggestion. Thanks for the suggestion. We'll try that. We'll wait till the minute changes. Nowadays, clocks are synced. It's funny. Not that we would have been streaming and drafting like this together anyways back in the day, but I'm a 90s boy. I grew up in the 90s, at least my teenage years. And back then, everybody's clocks were different because you just set them. So some people's might be a minute faster, 2 minutes faster, 3 minutes behind. Nowadays, everything's all synced up together for us. I hate when I do that. Sorry about that. Let's see what we want to do here. Feel like we can make a little detour if need be. Whatever. Let's double stack Drake. He's a rookie. So now, as long as we draft by my count one more, we're good. We're gonna try to get two more though, because we want to go for 10. We don't just like advancing, we like winning. That's why we play this game, right, fellas? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. 9 was the minimum. We're gonna get 10 though, just to say we really killed it. We'll fly through this one. Talk about my little announcement with you guys. You know what? We could use another running back. Let's grab Benson. There it is. We've completed the mission with several rounds to go, but we're going to win the mission, so we're not stopping. Let's look at the team. Team's turning out pretty good too. I don't think I didn't throw the team away to complete the mission. We have Caleb and Drake May at quarterback. We have Kyron Henderson, Benson at running back. We have Malik Neighbors, Ted, Rome, Diggs, Mooney, and Kyle Williams. So we got our boy Drake double stacked. We have Rome with Caleb. We have Brock Bowers holding it down at tight end right now. But that was kind of the plan. We knew there was a lot through the first 10 or 12 rounds that we liked as players anyways. So the plan kind of was to load up on them early, to leave us with a lot of outs later to where we could have flexibility if there was some more veteran type players that we felt we needed to, get. Maybe our wide receiver room turned out with a lot of rookies in it. In this case, it didn't, but either way, the flexibility is nice. When I was doing my research last night, y'all, there's something that's really interesting to me. I don't know if we'll get to it tonight. Maybe tomorrow night we can talk about it, but let's see. Let me see who we want to pick here. I was actually thinking about taking I don't want to do that just yet. Whatever. Let's go Jaden Blue. I've been into Jaden Blue lately. Somebody has to be useful in that running back room. And so with my research I was doing this weekend, Dallas actually has, by my O-line rankings, the 21st ranked offensive line. But they also have a bottom 12 defense. What does that tell me? That tells me that it's going to be really hard for them to probably have a ton of games where they just have big leads and are just trying to run it out. Let's face it, it's not like they really have the type of running backs to do that anyways. We're going to throw Hunter Henry on there. He's a nice second tight end to have with Bowers. Bowers is going to be hitting our lineup at tight end every week. So, in the rare case that maybe Hunter has like a 2 touchdown game, I feel like we're capitalizing on it well since it's a Drake team. And he's just a guy in general who's, going to give you something every week. So that week that Bowers is on a bye week, or maybe he misses a week here or there with a sprained ankle or something, we'll be done at tight end. We were thinking for a little bit about a third quarterback on this team, but they're all gone. We don't consider Darnold ever on this channel. You guys know that. I have 0% of him. I'm going to try my best to keep it that way. So we can just continue to take some running backs and receivers and finish this bad boy off, having plenty of depth at running back, plenty of depth at receiver. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I'm not really into Douglas, even on a Drake team. We already have 3 of his pass catchers, so I think we're probably good. I'm going to keep drafting my Ravens. Let's throw Hopkins on there. Why not? Caleb Drake. We have Kyron Henderson, Trey Benson, and Jaden Blue. The running back room, we really are going to have to, just get some help behind Kyron. I feel like we can count on Kyron to give us a score each week. Hopefully Benson is in there kind of early. Henderson's in there kind of early. Hopefully Benson can get on the field. Jaden Blue, we think if the Cowboys do not make any other moves, I do think Jaden Blue will be on the field and have some very usable weeks. I'll talk about it after this pick. I started kind of touching on the whole defense, offensive thing. Last time I looked, he was my highest drafted player, Mr. DJ Giddens. Come on down, sir. We cannot, will not stop drafting you. And he fits the team. We're crushing the challenge. The challenge has been smashed. Like I hope you guys are smashing that like. Ring the bell. Click all the clicky things. You know the routine. We're here 6 nights a week for you guys. Unless I have something going on that is around this time on someone else's channel. Speaking of which, Tuesday night, if you missed it last week, sometimes I think we're going to be on my channel too, but this particular week, I think we're going to be back on Candyman's channel. Me and Hartman and Chris Tuesday night. I believe it's pretty set in stone that we're going to be back on like we were last week, talking about some things, possibly with some fun drafts. We'll see. We're still kicking some ideas around for that night. I will be on Who Hames channel tomorrow afternoon at his normal time, 4 o'clock. We'll be on here tomorrow night, though, too. Same time. Let's see, where are we at? We're at 5 running backs going into the 17th pick. I need as many running backs on this team as I can get. I think just to help give me that depth because we are really weak behind Kyron with guys that we know we can depend on. So if we just have Travion Henderson, Vincent, Blue, Giddens, and Smith, hopefully it kind of works out just right. I think I'm going to go ahead. If the bye weeks were a little bit smoother, I would probably just be done at receiver with 7. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take one more receiver. I've been grossly into Tyler Lockett. I know everybody else wants to draft the rookies. I don't know though. I kind of think he's going to find a nice little role there. In the 18th round, you could do worse. I feel like I know I'm not taking a 0 with Tyler Lockett. And a lot of the other 18 round receivers, I can't say that same thing about. So I find that if I need a receiver in the 18th round, is that for tomorrow, Hartman, me and Steve's going to be on? Is that what you're saying? Nobody has to be useful, but they can be. Which player were you referring to on that comment? Let's talk about the team a little bit. Let's see how many we ended up with. I know we crushed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go, Mr. Hartman. We accepted your challenge. We didn't just advance out of it. We crushed it. We made the finals. And then we smashed there too. Caleb Williams, Drake May, 2 quarterbacks, 2 sophomores, going to hold the team down. What better way to lead a sophomore rookie team than those two? Guess it would have been better if Daniels was there, but that's beside the point. Kyron, Travion, Vincent, Blue, Giddens, and Smith. We can piece it together with that running back room, I think. Malik Neighbors, Ted, Rome, Diggs, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Williams, Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. Drafted that one for you. Tyler Lockett holding down the end of the room. Brock Bowers going to carry the tight end room with Hunter Henry there as his sidekick. I think we did okay, guys. I think we did okay. No, that's what I said about halfway through it. It was like when I started looking at it, I was already, and that was kind of the plan, was to just take, a lot of the guys that I liked early. I knew there was a whole lot of rookies and sophomores that I liked early. So I figured, well, let me load up on them. And then if I need to piece together something just to make the team work, I can. But it turned out really nice, I think. That one is in the books. Thank you for the challenge, Hartman. It was fun. So the next one, we have either the Extreme Zero RB submitted by Doc. Can't draft a running back until the 11th round. Or Dirty P had submitted a 10 wide receiver build. We're going to see, like we did on that one, who our first pick ends up being. And then we will go from there. Real quick, though, before we move on to that. So starting next Sunday, pretty much every Sunday night, unless I have something special going on, we are going to do a viewer appreciation night. This is the way that it's going to work. I'm going to take mental notes throughout the week, and anybody who routinely comes and hangs out in my chat who's not a streamer already, sorry Hartman, sorry Who Hames, all of you, regular drafters out there, the chat rats out there that love to just, hang out on all our streams. We greatly appreciate what y'all do. Y'all make this fun for us. So I would like to give a little back. What we are going to do is every Sunday, it'll be the second draft that I draft that night. We're going to get on, and anybody who pops in, during my stream that Sunday night during the first draft, say something in the comments, say hello, let me know that you're there. And like I said, all week long, I'm going to kind of make a mental note of who kind of, shows up the most, who's hanging out the most in my chats. And somebody who is present, because you got to be present to win, that Sunday, I'm going to pick you right out of my chat that night on Sunday. And I'm going to do a sprint because I want to do some more sprint drafts anyways. And just as though you were a guest on my stream, whenever the sprint draft is over, I'm going to throw your name on it. If we hit anything on that one, if we advance out our pod, it's the free for all. We got 3 weeks just to have that team kill it and be good. Then I'm going to split it with you guys, just like we would if you were helping me draft it on stream. If I pick you, I'm going to ask you to, we'll kind of make it fun too and kind of put your little twist on it. So, just hypothetically, if I was doing that tonight and I picked Rando X out of the chat, I'm going to ask him, hey, tell me 3 or 4 guys you're super in on. Tell me 3 or 4 guys you're super out on. He'll put them in the chat real quick. We're going to hop in a sprint. We'll probably have a little bit of time for it to fill anyway. So he'll have time to tell me who he's in on, tell me who he's out on. He can even chat with me as the draft goes on. I'm gonna try to have fun with it. Do it for you guys. We're gonna do that every Sunday night. It'll be my second draft that I do. You don't have to show up every night. I know that people are busy, but if you're somebody that I just see pop in on Sundays, you're probably not gonna get picked. I'll be honest with you. If I see you throughout the week, show up and show me love. I'm trying to show love back to you guys. So I think it'll be fun. Chance for you to win some free money just for listening to streams like you're going to do anyways. We are going to hop into another one of the Chihuahuas if it's still open and the sickos haven't filled it yet, which it wouldn't surprise me if it does tonight. What is it at now? Where's the percentage? Oh, 88%. We should be good for tonight. We're going to try my man's suggestion. Right now, by my clock, it is 10:50. As soon as my clock turns to 10:51, I am entering it. I'm just going to keep it up on the screen. So all I got to do is hit confirm. As soon as it hits 10:51, we are entering it. See if you guys can't get in it that way. I kind of like that idea. Thank you, by the way. Let me know what y'all think about the chat appreciation, viewer appreciation Sundays from now on. I don't know. I had the thought come to me last night. Thought it'd be a little fun way to show thank you to everybody. We are waiting. We are waiting. Any day now. I know y'all don't want to hear me sing. I am not a singer. Entered now. My clock just changed. 5 people left, down to 4, down to 3. I'm assuming some of you lovely folks hopped in it with me. What's up, my man? How's it going? Good to see you in here. Let's see, did any of you guys hop in here? Eagles is in here in the one hole. He is not a streamer, but he is on Twitter all the time. I follow him on Twitter. He's always posting some thoughts and ideas. Our boy Hartman got in here in the 10 spot. I see. That's you, right, Hartman? DMH09. Think so. I don't recognize anybody else, but if I missed you, let me know. We'll call you out. Creations is in the 8 spot. Okay. I have to write that one down so I can remember it. Sometimes it's easy to remember people's name. It's pretty similar to what it is on YouTube. Sometimes not. And me being still kind of new to Underdog, but I do like to remember my people that hang out with me. So we got a lot of friendly faces in here. This one has to be either a extreme 0 RB build or a 10 wide receiver build. Being is that we got the 12 spot, my guess is this is going to be a 0 RB build because we can start with receiver and get 2 nice picks and not have to sacrifice any value, which means for the third draft, we will then have to do the 10 wide receiver draft. Excuse me. We are going to have some nice little receiver options. Just waiting on the 11th spot to pick which one he wants. We are going to go with BTJ and Drake London. Let's go find our banner for it. It is Doc's 0 RB build that we are going to try and crush. Our other friend is in the 9th spot. We have all kind of friendly faces in here. That one should have been easy for me to tell. It is the same. Sorry I missed you. I'm still somewhat new to this. Cut your boy a little slack. I do the 10 wide receiver here. Elite quarterback comes back to 36. If it were me, we'll see. Maybe. I don't really like to do the 10 wide receiver though, like this. So for the 10 wide receiver, I actually did mine. If you want to see it, it's one of my videos from like a month and a half ago when I first started streaming. It was one of the first Underdog things that I did. It's not a live stream. If you just look under my channel, under the video section, you know what? I'll do y'all one better. When this is over, I'll find it and I'll post it in the comments in case you want to check it out. It was short. It was only maybe 20 minutes or so because I didn't do the whole draft. I just kind of recapped the draft. But I did an elite quarterback. I had 2 really good tight ends. I kept it at 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 4 running backs, but I drafted them all pretty early and tried to mix up their bye weeks. So it was a hyper fragile running back build. And then I just took 10 really late receivers. I believe, if I remember right, Diggs was my first receiver that I took. Just tried to attack it with pure volume and make up for it that way. I think myself, that is how I want to approach the 10 wide receiver team because I don't necessarily want to take BTJ and London on a team where I'm going with 10 total receivers. And I really like the receivers that's there at the back end of the board. So we're going to hope that in the next draft, we aren't picking at the back end of the board. Like we kind of would like to go good, perfect. We're about to say we want to go with Evans and Ted because my plan for this team, being that we cannot take a running back until the 11th round, that is the plan. We're going to accomplish the mission. And so I want to load up at wide receiver so that we can just stop at 6. That way we have some extra picks to work with. Probably 6 receivers, 2 tight ends, because we'll probably end up with 3 quarterbacks on this team. Probably would be my guess, just thinking it out. So then, like, now we're off to a good start because we got 4 super nice receivers. All their bye weeks kind of work out perfectly with each other. Because once we take that break in round 11, we will be just smashing running back pretty heavy for a while, I would imagine, trying to piece together enough early season action and volume to make the team work still. Eagles is going with 3 wide receivers in the 1 hole. Creation in the 8 hole went Genty, Derrick Henry, Lamar. Lamar is the my guy of all my guys for me this year. I even started toying with pulling Lamar up a little bit earlier than what he goes, just because I want a lot of Lamar. I've told y'all before, I don't need to go into one of my long spills on him tonight. But I am all about some Lamar this year. I think he is just going to be on a mission. Second year, Greg Monken should be able to jump right into camp with everything from last year, start adding to it, expanding the offense to new levels. I've heard some good little things too, like Lamar has been showing up more to some of the voluntary stuff, really seems focused, really, really seems like a man on a mission. Yeah, they say it about a lot of players, but it's good to hear when he's your my guy of all my guys. I definitely take him most of the time over Allen. If I'm gonna get one of the two, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Lamar if they're both there. We have a tough spot here because we can't take a running back, and we really don't want to go with the Joe Burrow unstacked nonsense that is Olave. We know will be one of them. Are there any tight ends we could pull up a little bit? I don't really want to pull any of those tight ends up. So we will probably just, you know what? We have Mike Evans. Why not? Let's take Godwin as a 6th receiver. We have Evans. Maybe we could get Baker to fall a little bit to us. I can't do the unstacked Burrow thing. Can't do it. Team so far, 6 straight wide receivers. We only did it because it's a challenge. It's kind of funny. So I didn't get to listen to a lot of it, but I actually was listening to a little bit of Steve's stream earlier over on FanSpeak, and he was talking about early draft, allocations and stuff like that. And he was saying something about, he had 4 receivers and he had mentioned something about his next pick was going to be running back or whatever. Didn't want to start with a 5th wide receiver because then for sure you're not starting one of them each week. And I actually commented in his stream that, yeah, I generally wouldn't, something like I wouldn't go 5 wide receivers either. But this is a specific reason. Like, had I not been doing this challenge, I probably would have double tapped running back right there. There was some nice options between Mixon, Harvey, or maybe like Olave and one of the running backs, something like that. But we want to pull it off. So we're going to see what we can do. We're in the 7th round, so we have a little bit to wait. Let's see where we have 84, 85 coming up. And then 100s. How do we want to play this? We might have to go 7 receivers. Either that or take quarterbacks early that we don't necessarily want to take early. Let's see what comes to us. Nine spot went Pollard. Hartman goes with Reed. Hawkinson just went. We don't want to reach down that far for Kelsey. I'm going to get Baker. Originally, I was thinking try to pass Baker around since I got a double stack set up. Seven, 9, and I guess we're going to take another receiver too because we really want to pull the mission off, but I don't really want to reach up for Kyler. So let's just take Mooney. I was hoping Hawkinson would stay there, but the 11 hole took Hawk. So we're going to be deeper than we wanted at receiver, but we will definitely be done. Let me think about this. We have 9 and 10 basically, so 2 more rounds that we cannot take a running back. So that means next time around, it will more than likely be a quarterback and a tight end. That'll give us a second quarterback. Or we could just double tap run tight end if there's a tight end, 2 tight ends there we like, I guess. Shouldn't say I have to take a quarterback. We'll see what comes. We have London and Mooney now. So we would kind of like to keep Penix late an option. With Baker, I'll go 3 QBs. I don't go 3 QBs. This is the one that Doc submitted to us. It's an extreme 0 RB challenge. Can't draft a running back until the 11th round. We have one more left. It is actually yours, Dirty P. After this one, we will be doing the 10 wide receiver build. The first one that we did was Hartman's rookie and sophomore challenge. We knocked it out the park. He said I only had to have 9 or 10 sophomores and rookies. We finished with 12, I believe it was, and had a pretty dang nice team in doing so. It was powered by Brock Bowers, Caleb Williams, and Drake May, and Malik Neighbors, and some other rookie and sophomores. This one has been a little bit tougher. We had to start with a lot more receivers than we ideally would. And I was really hoping Hawkinson would have lasted one more pick. We would have loved to went like Baker and Hawkinson right there at the 7-8 turn. We were thinking we wanted to kind of keep it at just those 6 receivers, but Mooney kind of made sense. And we didn't want to give up on the mission. We can make this a 3 quarterback team. See what comes back to us here. I'm probably going to go with a quarterback and a tight end. If so, we completed the mission. We're going to go Justin Fields, and we are going to take our first Travis Kelce share of the year 2025. We do not have any Kelce until now. 10 picks past ADP. He might still have a few good games left in the tank. Who Hames, if you're still hanging around, talk to me. Talk to me about Mr. Kelsey. Should I be drafting him a little more than once? Is he got a comeback season in him? I heard some rumblings about Mr. Kelsey being in losing 20 pounds or something like that. Almost sounds like he's kind of wanting to come back to, have that final hurrah, that one last season where he actually goes out with a better year than what he did last year. He played hurt a lot last year. That makes sense. I have very little Mahomes this year too. Kelsey is cooked. This is the only team we drafted him on. He was 10 picks past ADP. Maybe he has just a random 2 touchdown game in week 17 because the amazing corner that Denver has is locking up y'all's boy Rice. It's a slugfest game, a little back and forth, but not high scoring. Kansas City's down on the goal line and they do the little whirly twirly play. And then Kelsey runs out to the flat and catches a touchdown. And then he comes back later in the fourth quarter and he catches another one. And we win the money. It could happen. No, I agree with y'all for the most part. Like I'm not in any way saying that I'm in on him. Sometimes they move him around though. I guarantee you if Rice has the year that all you Rice truthers think that he's going to have, he's probably going to get some elite corners moving down to the slot to cover him. It wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for teams to just leave it up to their third corner. I don't know. I would if I was a defensive coordinator and I felt like my elite corner didn't have a problem going to the slot or just following Rice wherever he went. But it's my first Kelsey share. I am not in any way trying to make a bull case for Travis Kelsey. I'm just trying to look for what could possibly be a well-timed good game. Since we did take him, it was a little past ADP. Just the way this one was working out with all the stuff I was having to take early, but we are in the 11th round. We can finally take us some running backs. Let's get on the board with 2 backups who at least will be on the field. I may even have to just keep this. Well, can't keep it at a Fields and Baker team because they both have week 9 buys. So we probably will have to keep this at a 2 tight end team, which means at some point we might want to take one more detour at tight end kind of early. Who knows? Maybe we'll keep it at 2 QBs with the same bye week. I don't know. Like it's not good EV. I know that, but it could happen. I remember hearing about a month ago. I was listening to Chess Liam one day. He was going over his 2 teams that made the finals last year. And one team in particular, essentially, I forget who the player was, but it was a 2 QB team led by an elite QB. I want to say maybe an Allen team. And his second QB, I forget the exact situation, but basically the thing that he was saying was, hey, well, I won my pod by like 120 something points. And I didn't get either. He didn't get any points from his backup QB, or maybe his backup QB was hurt for the whole year, so it was like a 1 QB team. I forget the exact situation, but basically he was making the point that like he wouldn't be afraid to take two QBs that had the same bye week and just keep it with those two QBs because, yes, you are eating QB points totally for one specific week. But then on the flip side, you have those two QBs for every other single week. And the points that you're giving up in just one particular week, if you finish first or second still, it really doesn't matter. You're going to have your two QBs for the whole entire playoffs. We'll see. It's not ideal. Michael Penix went, and he was the 1/3 QB. He was the 1/3 QB that I was really hoping to get. We're going to go with Algier and Bigsby. The reason I'm taking Bigsby is because everybody else loves taking Tootin. ETN has been getting some good coach talk right there at the end of OTAs. But is there a world where even if Bigsby isn't going to be the dude, I'm not saying he's going to be like a 75% workload guy, but if they all kind of earn roles, well, Bigsby probably gets the goal line role, would be my guess. And we need bodies in that running back room. We have 7 strong receivers. We have a couple quarterbacks we feel good with. I could have maybe done that better and thought it out with Fields having a week 9 bye, but we just like Fields, and he was a little bit past ADP. And we just have to start catching up at running back because we need a lot of bodies to try to make this work. We're going to have to take one more tight end somewhat soon just to make sure I guess it doesn't have to be somewhat soon, but we'll see who comes around at the 180s. There's a couple possible options, maybe, I guess, depending on the running backs that are there. We'll just do it like that when it gets back to us and see what comes. When this one's over, we'll call out everybody's teams, look at them for a minute. There was a lot of fun, friendly faces in here. Y'all made it tough. This one's not turning out as good as the rookie sophomore team did for sure. But we completed the challenge, and that was the goal, to first and foremost make sure that we kick the challenge butt. And then after that, go from there. After we're done with the challenge, just try to piece it together the best that we can. Might hold off one more time at receiver. So that's only going to give us, even if we double tap, at tight end, even if we double tap running back here. Yeah, let's do that though. We're going to go one more time. We're going to try to catch up. Let's go with Shipley and Dowdle. Travis Kelce as our only tight end. That is absolutely scary. Baker and Fields at quarterback. Both of them have week 9 byes. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Ray Davis, Rashard White, Eckler, Tank, Will Shipley, and Dowdle so far as the 6 running backs. All of our favorite backup running backs, all on one team, essentially. Just missing my boy Giddens. Wide receiver room, though, we're going to need it to carry this team. BTJ, Drake London, Mike Evans, Ted, Olave, Godwin, and Mooney. We have the team double stack without the quarterback in London and Mooney. We have the Baker double stack. And then we have Pitts. We have 2 more picks left. I'm trying to decide in my head how I want to do it. We know one of the picks absolutely has to be a tight end, preferably a tight end that we feel decent about. And then for the last pick, we either could add on another running back. Guess we could go 3 tight ends. Did you do a 10 wide receiver team from the 8 spot? He says he's going to beat me to my challenge. Let's go look at it. We'll look at it after the draft. Genty, Henry, Lamar, and then just load it up. We'll look at it after the draft. Maybe you can show me the blueprint. I'm not huge on Genty, but he could be a smash this year. Derrick Henry and Lamar, you got all the touchdowns one way or another pretty much for Baltimore, whether it be throwing or running. Nothing wrong with that. Baltimore is a team I want a whole lot of this year. We need to grab tight end first, I think. Let's see what Hartman does. I think I'm going to pull a wild card, guys. We're going to take Jatavian Sanders at tight end. It's a punt tight end room between Kelsey and Jatavian Sanders. And then I'm going to stick to my prediction that the one, the only Sam Darnold is going to stink. My Texans are going to absolutely obliterate him in week 7 on Monday Night Football, I believe it is, which is going to have all the Seattle fans clamoring to want to see what Milroe can do. So week 9, when Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields are on their bye week, Jalen Milroe is going to come in to save this team. And he's going to run for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Throw another one. Probably not, but it could happen. That's the story we're going to tell ourselves at least. I was debating between him and another running back, but don't know. I just figured he could help us 2 ways. If my prediction that I've been saying I think could possibly happen after their bye week is right, then it kind of helps this team out a lot. Having him there in week 9, he's going to have a nice floor just with his rushing. And if he plays from week 9 on, it gives me essentially 3 quarterbacks, 2 of them with a lot of rushing potential. So we liked it. We think we can get by with these 6 running backs. Ray Davis, Rashard White, Eckler, Bigsby, Shipley, Dowdle. It is a really weak running back room. Yes. It is a really weak running back room. Probably for this team to be successful, somewhere along the way, we're going to have some injuries and guys like, Davis, White, Shipley, Rico actually be the starters for their team, if not for the rest of the year. For, maybe it pans out just right where a couple of them get a 2 or 3 week stretch at different times. I only need to start 2 of them because between the 7 receivers we ended up with, I mean, we're getting 3 receivers in a flex from that group easily, I think. BTJ, London, Evans, Tet, Olave, Godwin, Mooney. Feel like most weeks, all weeks, we need to count on 3 receivers in a flex coming from there. Hopefully, between Sanders and Kelsey, we can get something out of our tight end room most weeks. I don't absolutely hate the team, but we don't love the team either. I would say it's more on the don't like than like side. You guys can tell me what you think though. Let's go see what some of you other people did. We had a few of you guys in here. Um Creations. He said he did a 10 wide receiver build. This is exactly what I was talking about, kind of. Let's see how your running backs. Yep. Genty, Derrick Henry, Caleb Johnson, Brian Robinson, Lamar, and Caleb at quarterback. Who are the 10 receivers? Rome, Golden, Tillman, Leggett, Pat Bryant, Jalen Milrow, DeAndre Hopkins, Thornton, Pierce, Ray McLeod, Kittle, and Andrews at tight end room. I really like doing that at tight end. If you're going to do something like this, that is how I did my tight end room, except I believe it was Kittle and Hawkinson whenever I did it. But Kittle was a little bit cheaper because this was like a month and a half ago whenever I did the one team I keep talking about. The one thing I will say about this team, if it was me, which me probably why I say that, I am not in on Caleb Johnson this year. And if you were going to have just 4 running backs, I don't know. I would have preferred the third one maybe be a little bit better than that. I think you can get away with Brian Robinson as the 4th, but I don't know where would you have had there. Maybe in place of Kittle, maybe in the 40s, upgraded Caleb Johnson a little bit for somebody that you felt a little better about. Maybe you love Caleb Johnson though. So running back room is super strong. I mean, I always go 2 quarterbacks with Lamar. I don't know if you'll see me draft a 3rd quarterback with Lamar. Generally, it's a little bit weaker than Caleb Williams is my 2nd, but you did have Rome, so it made sense. I drafted Dak with Lamar the other day because I had CD Lamb team, so it kind of made sense. I like the team overall. It's it's a little I feel like it's maybe a little too thin at the running back room behind Henry and Genty for only having 4. But if Caleb Johnson is a smash, then that changes that. I just don't believe in Caleb Johnson. Other than that, though, tight end room is strong. You attacked wide receiver with volume. You have enough of them there that you're going to get some kind of scores from them. Let's move on. Who else did we have in here? Our friend LOL was right behind him in the 9. 2763. Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence. Nothing wrong with that. Chuba, Travion, Pollard, Tootin, Miles Sanders, Nick Chubb, Marshawn Lloyd. Let's see what the receivers are like before I comment on the running back room. Puka, AJ Brown, JSN, Downs, Rashid Shaheed, and Burton, Goddard, Strange, and Gesicki. Plenty enough in the tight end room. You should get you a usable to good score most weeks out of that. Kept the wide receivers at 6. It's a strong room. I mean, Puka, AJ Brown, and JSN, Downs, Rashid, Burton. 7 running backs total. It could work. I mean, it all depends on some of the picks. If Travion is playing a whole lot and he's a smash as a rookie, If same thing with Tootin. We're going to talk about something with O lines in a minute too before we start the third draft. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it tonight because I found it was interesting. Nick Chubb, I don't think is really too useful unless there's an injury to Mixon, but Mixon always seems to miss a few games. I think it's a pretty good team overall. I would say I don't love it, but I don't hate it. What did Hartman do? 3.672. Jaden Drake May and Jordan Love. More quarterback firepower than I like to do on a Jaden team, but I know some people really are into that, and it is definitely a strong room. I like all three of the players in a nutshell. Achane, Mixon, Scatterboo, Jaden Blue, Jarquez Hunter, Keaton Mitchell. Nice running back room. Heavy two for sure starters up top. See what you get with the rookies, Blue and Scat, Jarquez Hunter, Mitchell, Neighbors, Scary Terry, Jalen Waddle, Jaden Reed, Ibuka, Adam Thielen, Dontavian Wicks. Nice receiver room. You got Love doubled up. You got Terry. You got Love tripled up, actually. You got Hunter with Drake. That's a really nice team, sir. Tucker Craft and Henry. I like that team a lot. It makes sense. If it was me, I would have only went 2 QBs with Jaden, but everybody's different. Some people swear by it. I know Steve and his sister, they draft 3 QBs almost every draft, even if it's Josh Allen, Jaden, or or Lamar. Plenty of firepower in your running back room early. Also, a lot of our favorite rookies on the team. Deep at receiver. Good team, sir. Good team for sure. Yeah, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Not a BBM tonight because we are doing challenge drafts. I owed my chat challenges from hitting 100 subs a while back. We knocked out 2 of them already. This team was the 0 RB. I could not draft a running back until the 11th round. The team didn't turn out super great. I don't love it. Say I lean more towards not liking it than liking it. But we completed the challenge, which is what this night was about, which leaves us with our last one will be a 10 wide receiver build submitted by Dirty P. We'll hop in a minute. I need to so I'm old school. I just write stuff down on paper all the time. But I told y'all I was doing a whole bunch of work last night. Saturdays is the night that I don't stream. I hang out with the family during the day and stuff. And then it's normally Saturday night. I'm just in here for a few hours doing some research, looking into things. And I put together an aggregated list of the average offensive line ranking from using 4 different sites that seem pretty legit with their offensive line rankings. I then found the top 20 team defense. It was already aggregated for me. It was basically like 8 different ESPN analysts. I know like the Mike Clay guy had his on there, and I think Phil Yates was one of them, and I forget who all else, but it was basically 8 different, ESPN football people made their top 20 defensive list. So I couldn't see on that particular list what defenses were 21 through 32. So then what I did is I kind of looked at my O line list and I said, okay, well, which one of these teams from my O line list are not a top 20 defense? And surprisingly enough, a whole lot of them at the bottom. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was about 8 teams that were, let's say, bottom 12 to 13 was their offensive line ranking. And at the same time, they weren't even a top 20 defense, meaning their defense was probably about one of the worst 10 or so, and their offensive line was one of the worst 10 or 12. And two teams in particular really, really jumped out at me, and it was the Jaguars and the Giants. What I'm wondering is, should we pump the brakes a little bit? And what I mean by that is we all love drafting Scatterboo. We all love drafting, or when we don't get Scatterboo, we like to take Tracy too. With the Jaguars, I took Tank on this team, but in general, I don't take many Jaguars, but I know there's a lot of people that love Tootin. And it's like if we have a team that is a really poor offensive line and they are also a really poor defense, how much realistically can we expect their running backs to really be smashing? They're probably not going to be in a whole lot of games where they're just winning. They got to, they're up a couple scores. They're trying to just drown out the clock at the end of the game. They're probably going to be trailing in a handful of games or a lot of them. So, like, if in the case that it's their pass catching back or whoever ends up being their main pass catcher, yes, maybe that can be helpful. But I don't know. When I noticed that last night, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to be as in on Scatterboo, and I don't know if I want to be drafting Tracy as much as I have, because I want to say Scat, I'm maybe like 11 or 12%. Tracy, I'm maybe like 8 or 9%. The Jaguars, I've been kind of staying away from for the most part. Earlier, I was drafting Tootin out of fear. I'll be honest with you. I started off not drafting Tootin, and then all of you sickos love him so much that I kind of started taking him. There was about a 2 or 3 week stretch where I really started taking him. And I'll admit, once I thought about it, I was taking him probably just because it was the fear of missing out. Didn't want to, not have the rookie that just smashed and killed it. But then I rethought my stance and I was like, no, I really don't want to be in on him. So we chilled out on him. Maybe I continues. Maybe I can take this list, put it into a spreadsheet form so I can share it one night with you guys or whatever, or throw it in maybe Who Hames Discord or something. But it's pretty interesting though. And then there's other teams like the Cowboys. It kind of reconfirms my stance on Blue. I've been drafting Jaden Blue lately, and I think that he's a good pick because, one, he's the only back that's really explosive there. And if they get into a situation where they can't really run the ball a lot and they're having to really have a high pass rate over expectancy type thing or whatever, Jaden Blue is going to probably be in there some as a pass catcher. He's excellent out of the backfield. And then there's some other teams like the Texans. They have one of the worst offensive lines, but their defense overall out of the 8 analysts was actually ranked as the number 1 defense on average. And so like a team like that, well, is a little bit different in my opinion. If you have a bad offensive line, but you have an elite defense, your defense is going to be putting your offense on the field a lot more. They're going to be putting your offense on the field a lot more in great scoring situations. Anyways, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think there's any correlation between a really bad defense and a really bad offensive line? And should we maybe not be as excited as we are? The Browns were not ranked as a top 20 defense this year by all the ESPN guys, and their offensive line was an average rank of 27. I take a lot of Judkins. It kind of makes me wonder, like, should I slow down just a little bit maybe on Judkins for that same reason? Let's go hop in another one though. That seemed to work really well. Shout out to Creation. He had suggested it that we go off of the minute change. And so I think that's how I'm going to do it from now on for you guys. We're going to go in another $4 chalupa, and we will do it right when the clock changes to 11:37. It is 11:36 right now on my watch. As soon as it changes to 37, we will hop in it. There it goes. We hopped in it. There's 4 spots left if somebody wants to get in it. This is the third draft. Normally by now, we like to throw on some music. So we will do that for this draft. We have the third pick, which is kind of right around where we were hoping to get because we can snag up a running back. And our team will probably end up looking a lot like, I think it was Creation that did the 10 wide receiver team in the last draft. I didn't like his too much, or I didn't love it. We'll see if we can make this one better. We see Mark in there. Let's see if there's anybody else. Don't recognize anybody else. Don't be taking up all the receivers, Mark. Save some for the end because we're going to need a lot of them. Exactly. I was talking about it, and y'all can compare them when this draft is over, or maybe tomorrow. At some point, I will link another video of mine into the comment section if YouTube lets me do that. I don't know if I can actually do that, come to think of it. Anyways, I had we're on the clock. We're going to take Bijan. I actually did this same challenge just on my own, not as a challenge someone gave to me, but just wanting to try it. It was about a month and a half ago or so whenever I first moved over to Underdog. I think it was in a puppy when the puppy was still out. And that is basically what we did. It was a Josh Allen team. The one thing thinking back that's going to kill me on that particular team was my second quarterback was Anthony Richardson because it was before his shoulder broke. And so as it's looking like Anthony Richardson may be done, that team probably will only have Josh Allen. But hey, it could still work. You know, Allen can carry the team enough that we can get by with just essentially one quarterback eating the quarterback bye week points. We got a plan for this one, though. We got a plan for this one, and I think y'all are going to like it. At the end, you guys will have to tell me what you think. If it can work out for us. Bijan is on a bye week, week 5. We need a couple things to fall just right to us. Worked out perfect. I was really hoping JT would stay there so that we could take JT as our second running back, because we are only going to have 4 running backs. So we really wanted it to be 2 studs up top. Have a plan for the third pick. And that plan is, I keep telling y'all I'm going to start doing it more and more. We're going to pull Lamar all the way up over here. You don't see too many Bijan, Lamar teams, but Lamar is our guy. We want as much Lamar as we can get.
Now I would just like to introduce y'all to the man, the myth, the legend, the MVP front runner. If anybody else got to say something different about that, then come see me.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. If you're raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
We want to get our percentage up on Lamar. You know, it was about a week and a half ago, or actually I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, because it was on a Saturday. I was doing my research and I just convinced myself. I was already in on Lamar and in on the Ravens, but I convinced myself that I want to get as much Lamar as I can. I'm not scared of how high the percentage gets. And part of it is in the third round, I don't really like Rashee Rice. I don't like Jacobs' playoff schedule. I'm not in on McBride. I do like Adams. I do like Garrett Wilson. Look at that. Hill's starting to go in the second round more and more now. For a while, you could get Hill right in here. But basically, in this first part of the third round, it was almost always Wilson, Hill, or Adams for me. So those percentages are starting to, you know, get up there pretty nicely. Hold on, let me check something real quick. There it goes. The music was messed up for a minute. But we were starting to get our percentages up there on those three. And it's like, I don't want to be like extremely overweight on those three. I do want to, when it's all said and done, be extremely overweight on Lamar. So we had this idea that, like, let's just start pulling Lamar up a lot. I pulled him up in a slow draft with Dak and or not Dak, with CeeDee Lamb the other day. Let's see what we want to do here. Week 12 will work pretty nice. Probably go with Hampton. Yeah. Let's go Hampton. Even if he starts out a little slow, even if it takes him a couple weeks to show the coaches that he should be in there over Najee, we have BTJ and Bryant and Bijan holding it down for us up top. We didn't have any rule as far as when we could take our receivers. We're going to go ahead and take our first one here. Since it's a Lamar team, we'll go ahead and pair Flowers with them. I didn't love any of the running backs that were right there. So we'll do it that way. Probably take our fourth running back in round 6. Grab us a couple tight ends soon because we're only going to have 2 tight ends. We can go with a late quarterback because Lamar is going to carry the team. He's going to power it. What's up, fellas? How you doing? We're having our challenge draft night. Good to see you, Steve. Good to see you, Chris. No, it's not Kyron hate. I have I'm basically right on Kyron. I have 8% in the eliminators, 6% in regular tournaments. I actually said I want more than 9% of him. I'm assuming maybe you're talking about the poll. I haven't looked at it yet. I need to go back and look at it. I need to be better about that. We set polls up for you guys, and I am probably the worst about remembering at the end of my stream to pull YouTube up and go look at it and see. We're doing our challenge draft, though. We are kicking butt tonight. The first one was from Mr. Hartman. It was to draft only rookies and sophomores. That is what we did when we hit 100 subs. I just hadn't did it yet. I've been owing it to the chat. His goal was 9 or 10 rookies or sophomores. We knocked it out the park. We drafted 12 of those bad boys, and the team turned out pretty nice still. It was a a Drake May, Caleb Williams team. We had Malik Neighbors on there. We had Travion on there. We had Bowers holding down the tight end room. We took the rookie receiver from the Patriots paired with Drake. We had Rome paired with Caleb. I forget who else, but we knocked that one out the park. This one is the 10 wide receivers, so we're trying to do a 2-4-10-2. How we're going to make it work, I think. The second one was an extreme RB build, in which the challenge was to not draft our first running back. Extreme zero RB build, not drafting our first running back until round 11. These are not running backs I want as my fourth one. So maybe we can go ahead and grab a second receiver just to have a little bit more firepower there. Let's take Golden. He plays Lamar. Chris is in the chat. Chris loves him some Golden. We'll take it from him. The second draft, that was the extreme running back build. That one didn't turn out quite so well. Some things got away from us. We completed the challenge. We did not draft our first running back until round 11. The team overall, though, I will have to say I did not really like it that much. I really don't want to go with a week 5 running back. Whatever. We're going to take our first Isaiah Pacheco share. We have been kind of out on him this year just because we do kind of worry about the injury. But I really wanted to have 4 running backs who didn't have the same bye week, who all were not guys that I was counting on for, like, an injury to happen for them to get on the field. So I think we did that. We have our 2 studs up top. Taylor and Bijan's going to carry the team for sure. Then we have Hampton. We need Pacheco to be good. It's a small hedge. I need to take some Pacheco just in case he's the Pacheco of 2 years ago. Steve says that he doesn't want 0. Kyron, probably around 4 to 6. I'm kind of a little more in on Kyron. I wouldn't mind being, 9-10% on him. I like his price. I like him better than Jacobs. He goes a little later than Jacobs. I hate Jacobs' playoff schedule this year. That's what my Jacobs hate is about. I was drafting Jacobs before the schedule came out. My thing is he's overpriced. I want him to have an ADP more like 48, 45. He may get there. Where are we at on the board here? If you guys missed it, the announcement this week was starting next Sunday, we're going to do something called Fan or Chat Appreciation, Viewer Appreciation Sundays. The plan is anybody who's not a streamer, so sorry, Steve and Chris, but any of, the chat rats out there, the guys that always show us love, they're in Chris's chat. They pop in Steve's chat. They pop in my chat to end their night. Let me make this pick and then I'll finish talking about it. We might reach down a little early for Lamar because I don't think I necessarily want to get not Lamar, Andrews. Yeah, let's do it. We know we want just 2 tight ends. We got Lamar doubled up. We like that. We already had 2 receivers, so I really didn't want to take another wide receiver right there. We might go ahead and take a quarterback here. Be done at quarterback with the 2. Let's go. Well, we could wait a little bit. I don't love any of those tight ends. You know what? No, I don't want to do that. I don't know what I want to do with this pick, guys. Whatever. Let's take Baker. Steve's in the room. Steve always talks about how Baker unstacked was part of what helped him get 4th. I believe it was in a big board tournament. So we'll throw him on there as a second quarterback. We have our 4 running backs. The whole rest of the draft, other than one more tight end, at some point will be receiver. We can not even worry about the other positions. But basically, for my chat appreciation or viewer appreciation, what I'm going to do is Sundays, we'll do at least 2 drafts. We always do 2 drafts, though. During the week, I'm going to make kind of a mental note. I'll probably, write myself a little note each night. And you don't have to show up every night, but the viewers out there who routinely come in my chat, a few nights a week, on Sunday, you got to be present to win. So come hang out with us on Sunday nights during the first draft. Let me know that you're there. Shout, say hello in the chat. And when we start the second draft, I'm probably going to do them on sprints because I really want to start getting into the sprints more anyways. I really like that format. I talk about it all the time, how my priorities for building a team, I think, kind of play into what the priorities should be for the sprint. So anyways, whoever's on my channel, whoever's in the chat Sunday night, after we finish the first draft, I'm going to pick a random person, somebody that hasn't already won it. And just like as though you were a guest on my channel, whenever I'm done drafting the sprint, I'm going to put your name on the draft. And whatever, if we advance out of the pod, whatever we make in that 3-week playoff sprint, I'm going to split it with you. I'll reach out to you. If you are the one that it is, I'll reach out to you on Twitter, or you can DM me on Twitter so we have an easy back and forth for communications. Let me see what we want to do here, and then I'm going to talk some more because I have another cool idea that kind of like pairs with it. Still don't really want to take that other tight end yet. I'll probably just triple up Lamar. We're going to get all of his touchdown passes caught by somebody, with the exception of Isaiah Likely, probably, because I don't think I'm going to do Andrews and Likely on a 2 tight end team. That really wouldn't make sense. We're not worried about the wide receiver bye weeks because when it's all said and done, we are going to have 10 of those bad boys anyways. But anyways, the whole plan to it is I'm going to draft a sprint, pick somebody out of the chat each Sunday night. When it's done, I'm going to throw their name on it. But since the sprints probably will take a couple minutes to fill up anyways, while we're waiting on it to fill up, and even as the draft goes on, the best we can, I'll have that person, before it even starts, I'll be like, well, hey, let's say it's Randy. Randy, put in the chat 3 or 4 players that you're really in on, 3 or 4 players that you're really out on. That way we kind of draft a team, kind of towards their liking anyways. And then when it's over, I'll put their name on it. We'll see how it does at the end of the year. we're going to start doing that at least for the next few Sundays. See how it goes. If you guys like it, figure you'll like it. Everybody likes a chance at free money, right? I thought it'd be fun though. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's catch up with the chat for a little bit while we wait on it to come back to us. We got auto-picked with Trey Harris because I thought I was already on the long end, but I wasn't. That's fine. We were at that point. We were just going to start hitting wide receiver up anyways, and we like Trey Harris. It was pretty early ADP, but oh well, it happens. We will call that a sophomore mistake. I'm not quite a rookie at this streaming thing anymore, but clearly we still have to gain some experience to always be on top of it. But it happens. I was so excited to tell you guys about the fan appreciation night. Let's catch up with the chat a little bit now that we are waiting on it to come back. My thing is he's overpriced. We saw that. I'll enter on a burner. Awesome, Hartman. Awesome. Hartman, we will find out it's you when all your team is Rome, Reed, Hunter. Yeah, it will be pretty easy to tell. I'm glad to see him sliding to this range. Now I'm starting to take him. All right, let's get back into this draft, though, so we can finish off this team. We let one pick get away from us. It wasn't the end of the world. We like Trey Harris. It was just earlier than what we ideally would have liked to take Trey Harris. We're going to take Tillman. I don't even remember where I read it, but I saw a little post someone had put together on Twitter the other day, and there was a few game stretch where Tillman was really killing it last year. He's expected to, essentially be the number 2 wide receiver this year. He doesn't really have much competition. Whoever the quarterback ends up being, I'm thinking it should be pretty decent just because they have so many options there to play with. Somebody's got to be okay, right? Let's see if we want to grab our second tight end yet. No, we do not. We have our 2 quarterbacks. We have our 4 running backs. Here's how we can make the early Trey Harris pick make a little more sense. We'll grab us some QJ. Whoever ends up being the best wide receiver 2 for that team on a given week or even overall as the season, we'll have him. Unless old ass Mike Williams can keep his back healthy all year and isn't dust, which I don't think is the case. I think those are 2 things that both could go the other way. Talked about it earlier. Me and my daughter saw the new Jurassic Park movie. If you liked any of the other ones, it's definitely worth a watch in the theater. It's pretty good. I like the story behind it too. It was a good movie. I forgot Mark was in here. Let's go see what he's doing in that 11th spot. Nico and Achane, Josh Allen, George Kittle, Kamara, Debo, Mooney, Downs, Scatterboo, Burden, CJ, Kincaid, and Hollywood. It's got some nice players going on over there. We'll look at it. We'll give it the full team breakdown at the end, of course. Tonight was definitely a success, though. The first team we really liked, the sophomore rookie team. We actually think that team has a good a chance as any of the teams in that particular pod. It turned out pretty good. The second draft, we didn't like the team. We're going to say it's a no-go. It could do something, but we didn't like it that much, to be honest. But we completed the mission, which was the objective: to successfully complete the challenges. This one, we can pretty much say we're going to do it. All that stands in our way is only drafting one more tight end and then just finishing it off all the way through at receiver, which we will do. Probably grab Thielen here. It's not really a tight end I want quite yet. Let's just get Thielen. Let's see, there's a couple. Guess right there we could do it because I don't think that they'll come back. There's a couple tight ends we like coming around the next time. If not, we'll just keep going with receiver. We're going to take Ertz. We feel like we know what we're getting out of him. I feel okay with an Andrews-Ertz combo as my tight ends. Lamar and Mayfield, Ertz and Andrews at tight end. The 4 running backs led by Bijan and JT, Omari and Hampton, Isaiah Pacheco. The games at Hampton in the running game aren't that strong. We got whoever the wide receiver 2 ends up being for the Chargers, we feel like. We have Tillman, we have Thielen. We have a couple Ravens with Lamar. We have Golden for the bring back in week 17. And we will end it with 3 more wide receivers to complete the mission. We can sleep well tonight, guys, because we completed our missions. We knocked them out. We got about, another week, guys? I think we got one more week or so, and then camp should be starting up. I don't know the exact dates that they start, but I know it seems about right, huh? Not this week, coming week, but maybe the week after that. Anybody know the exact day that most of the teams get started with training camps? Throw a date out there if you know it. We're still doing the deep dives too. We have one lined up for tomorrow who is a late round wide receiver that somebody recommended. Tune in for that. If you have a particular player that you would like me to do a deep dive on, throw them in the comment section after the video ends so it's easy for me to find. You guys will have to tell me how the team turned out in your opinion. Steve, if you're still hanging around, I think you missed it when we were talking about offensive lines. So, and I'd be interested, maybe I can have you come on my channel again sometime soon to really get into a deep conversation about it with you, because I really love hearing what you have to say. I respect your analysis a lot on stuff. Let me make this pick real quick and then I'll talk about it. You know what? We're going to have so many wide receivers. Let's take a shot on a big play guy like Thornton. He's not going to hit the lineup a lot, but when he does, it can hopefully be with some nice spike weeks. We'll make this next pick 2 since they come kind of quick. So I think I got an idea here. I got a plan. Let's try something. We're going to take Dontayvion Wicks. And I'll tell y'all why here in just a little bit when we finish off the draft. See what happens. So, Steve, if you're around still, I did some work last night. I basically took 4 different offensive line rankings, and then I, got the average of all 4 different sites to make kind of my own offensive line ranks, basically, which is just the average of those 4 sites that seem pretty, legitimate rankings. Then I took the ESPN had a thing where it was the top 20 defenses by it had 8 different guys that had ranked them. It was like, Phil Yates and Mike Clay and all them. And so then I kind of compared the 2 lists and I was just like, well, I want to see if there's any correlations or anything that jumps out. And like one team in particular that I'd be interested to hear would something like this, which you probably already know it anyways, but should we really be quite as in as we are on, say, like the Jaguar running backs or the Giant running backs in particular, or even like Judkins with the Browns? I mean, I like Scatterboo. I don't love him, I don't think, quite as much as you, but I definitely have been in on him. I'd say if I had to guess, I'm probably around 12% or something like that. But what I found was like they are a bottom 12 defense, the Giants, and over the average of all 4 offensive line sites, they were ranked 30th out of 32. And I don't know, it just kind of got me wondering last night, like if a team really has one of the worst defenses and a team really has one of the worst offensive lines, we're going to also take Savion Williams. I'll get back to my talk in a minute. So my thinking there was, since I have 10 tight ends, right, we're just going to assume that we make the finals with this team. We have Lamar. We have him triple stacked with Flowers and Bateman and Andrews. So since I have extra firepower at receiver and we already took Golden, we made our last 2 picks, Wicks and Savion Williams. If that game, for some reason, the weather's not too horrible in Green Bay that time of year and the game goes absolutely nuts, we really like our chances with that, having all of those players from that game. Worst case, from the Green Bay side throughout the year, having Golden plus the 2 later guys, hopefully we get some ping-ponging weeks. One of these guys could end up being a really useful player this year. I was willing on a team when I'm drafting 10 wide receivers to just take both of them and say, okay, whichever one ends up being the useful guy out of Savion and Wicks, we will have him. I'll call my team out in a minute in case Steve needs to run. But no, it just got me to wondering, like, how in do I want to be on a running back from a team that, has a really bad defense and a really bad offensive line? Judkins is one that I kind of thinking that way about too. Do I want to rethink my stance on him? Because I have a lot of Judkins and they were in the same boat. They had like the 27th ranked offensive line and their defense was pretty bad also. Let's see what he says. I do worry about the Giants O-line. They didn't add much, but they are hoping for Andrew Thomas' health. What I will say is that the Giants last year had 35 inside the 5 carries. That is the same number as the Cards, one behind the Texans. Texans have a horrible offensive line too, so there are still scoring opportunities. My belief is the Giants' offense will be better because Russ Dart are upgrades over last year. No, I agree. I agree for the most part, and I'm not going to stop by any means. I'm not going to just stop drafting those players, but it does just I just found it interesting. There was actually a lot of the teams who have really bad offensive lines also have, according to these, rankings and stuff, really bad defenses. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly I want to do with the information yet. I just gathered all of the information last night, but it is definitely something I want to kind of keep in mind and think about a little, and maybe see if there's a way I can think of how I want to play certain things off of it. Let's look at the final team. We completed the mission 2-4-10-2. Lamar and Mayfield, Bijan, JT, Hampton, Pacheco. Took our first Pacheco share. This was a KC night. We drafted our first Travis Kelce share on the last team. We drafted our first Pacheco share on this team. I'm going to be on Huhaim's channel tomorrow. I'm going to make him proud and let him know about it. Flowers, Golden, Bateman, Trey Harris, Tillman, Quentin Johnston, Thielen, Thornton, Wicks, Savion Williams, all kind of receivers. Andrews and Ertz as my tight ends. Since I had so many receivers to play with, especially like after the Trey Harris was that one auto pick, I was kind of talking and didn't realize I was on the clock. Thought I had the long way around and I had the short way around. So it was a little reach on him because of that. But then I grabbed Johnston after that, thinking, okay, well, at least I'll kind of have hopefully the wide receiver 2 from the Chargers by doing that. Same thing with Green Bay. Not the wide receiver 2, but probably, the third wide receiver that's really useful for them. Or not third, but the one later guy, it's essentially their wide receiver 4 that they're fighting with, as long as Dobbs is still there and running routes, which we assume he is. Obviously, these guys aren't stepping over like the rookie. They're not stepping over Reed, but they were my last 2-round picks. Maybe if I get 3 spike weeks out of either of them combination wise, I'd be okay with that. More so I did it because I had 10 wide receivers and because I had Lamar with a bunch of stacks. So I was like, whatever, let me take those 2 are as good as 17th and 18th round picks as anybody. Let me throw them on there, and then I'll have 3 Green Bay wide receivers as bringbacks to Lamar and Flowers and Bateman and Andrews in week 17, because they tell me that is where all the money is at and that I should be stacking up those teams. That's what they say. Let's see what Mark did before we forget about him. Good old buddy Mark. He was sitting in the 11 hole, 2772. Allen and CJ, like it a lot. Achane, Kamara, Scatterboo, Roshan Johnson, Shipley, Brashard Smith, and Maffa. Nothing wrong with the top for sure. Kamara, Achane, you got Scatterboo, you got Roshan, Shipley, Smith, plenty of firepower in the running back room. I like that running back room. Wide receivers led by Nico with CJ. Then he has Debo, Mooney, Downs, Burden, Hollywood, and Noel. So you actually have CJ doubled. Some rookie firepower. If he starts off late, you still got enough guys up top. Who are your Kittle and Kincaid to go with Allen? I talked about it when I did a Kincaid deep dive. That's the time I take Kincaid is on an Allen team. Typically, I don't like his receivers. I really like that team, Mark. I like the team a lot. Between Kittle and Kincaid, I think you did it right, keeping it at 2. Kittle could essentially be, when it's all said and done, the top target earner this year for San Francisco. He's a stud. You got Nico, Debo. Your wide receiver room is a little weak with Debo as the second, but you do have 7 of them, and you have enough dudes. I think you'll be okay. How do the bye weeks look? The bye weeks actually look really nice. Nico and the 2 Texans are the only ones I believe doubled up. Yeah. Well, no, Burden and Mooney too, but whatever. It's okay. You have enough running backs. You'll get a flex a lot of times, between Kamara, Scat, Roshan, Shipley, and Smith. You can get a RB2 and a flex out of there a lot of weeks, I think, especially if you get lucky with some of those later running backs. Allen's going to do what he does. CJ, I was just telling you about it earlier. Like, I think the Texans, and I talked about it the other night on stream, I really think the Texans are going to throw a lot this season. And I do want to start. I've already been drafting a lot of Higgins. I want to start trying to get some more Nico, maybe even more Stroud. It's like they fired the OC, and now it was actually just about a month or so ago. I read some reports coming out of Houston, once during the OTAs. I read some reports coming out of Houston about part of why Slowick got fired was because CJ wanted more control. He wanted to be able to check out of stuff more. Apparently, Bobby Slowick was real like, this is the way it's going to be. You can check from a run right to a run left type stuff, but you can't like check out of my run to go to a pass. He was more run heavy with his play calling than apparently CJ wanted the team to be. And so what did they do this year? They went out and got a new offensive coordinator. They fired Slowick. They didn't really upgrade the offensive line none, but it's like I was talking with somebody a while back with it. Last year was essentially the same offensive line that they had the year before that, with the exception of the year before that, some of those guys were rookies instead of sophomores. And 2 years ago, our offensive line was actually pretty damn good, and Slowick was getting praises and got a head coaching interview even. Looking back, I wish he would have accepted it. But the difference was going into last year, he didn't change anything. He kept almost his exact same kind of, philosophy, game plan. He attacked it the exact same way. Coordinators had a whole offseason to kind of figure out, exactly what type of stuff they were trying to do and everything. And they gave them fits. They found simple stunts that just confused the offensive line and got rushers free all the time. They knew what type of stuff they were trying to do in the pass game, because it was a very, very simple pass scheme for the most part that he was running. So they fired him. They go out and bring Kaylee in. They signed Kirk. Okay, say what you want about Kirk. I'm a little more in on him than some people seem to be. But after they signed him, they turned around and they spent their first 2 picks in the draft on wide receivers. And then in the 4th round, they reached up for a guy known to be a pass catching back that a lot of people had going just at the end of the draft as maybe some depth as a 3rd down, pass catching back. They reached up and got him in the 4th round. So Nick Haley already was saying in OTAs that he's putting blind trust in CJ. CJ was already talking about how he's gonna have all this freedom now at the line of scrimmage to do different things like he wanted to do, like he's been wanting to do. I don't know. Everything the team's telling me says that they want to get away from being that kind of run first team to being more of a pass heavy team or a pass first team. It makes sense, right? Like, it is a lot easier. No, on paper, they do not have a good offensive line. They have a very, their offensive line is made up of journeyman veteran offensive linemen and young guys that so far haven't proven to be great players, much less, really good players. Maybe they can be starters. We'll see. They did draft a tackle who's, pretty raw. I like what they did, though. They brought in Trent Brown because the tackle that they drafted is actually kind of the same makeup, just thought of as a big power tackle type player. So I guess the thinking is, maybe he can kind of mentor him. But it's a lot easier in the right system to pass with the bad offensive line, as long as you have enough weapons out there to where you have, check downs when need be because they blitz you, or you have guys getting open at a, pretty quick pace because they're good receivers. So hopefully between the two rookies, Kirk, Nico, I don't like Schultz because of his blocking less ability, because he doesn't put any effort into blocking, but he's still a decent tight end at the end of the day, especially in a pass game. That's what I think about him, though. That's what I think they're trying to tell us, that they're going to start throwing the ball a whole lot more than what they have the last couple of years. Mark said, love Nico, and CJ throws him the ball, so I take Nico. Ha ha ha. Yeah, simple game, right? I hope Stroud is ready to call the protections because the O-line is buns. Yeah, it is, but scheme can have so much to do with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like literally, I know it better than anyone with them because, Mark will tell y'all guys, I'm a true fan. Like I live and breathe Texans. I read every report I can about them. So I know the team inside and out. And 2 years ago, it literally was the same offensive line as we had last year, with the exception of 3 of the players were rookies instead of sophomores, or 2 of the main ones that played were rookies instead of sophomores. But they were so much better that first year whenever teams didn't know exactly what Slowick's scheme was going to be, and they did a lot better job of piecing it together, getting the ball out quick. Now, yeah, it helped that they had Tank Dell being the, out of nowhere stud that he was, and getting open really quickly so CJ could get rid of the ball really quickly. It helped that Nico, took that next step and became the dude at wide receiver. But just like at the end of last year, at the end of 2 years ago, once Tank got hurt, that's when everything first started trying to change. Teams realized all we have to do is, basically watch Nico, double Nico. They don't have anything else at receiver. Same thing last year. Once Diggs and Tank were out of there, they essentially just made sure Nico didn't kill them. And then their only other worry is really making sure you shut down the run game and try to get pressure on CJ. Teams pressured us a lot. Easy to do, right? So I think they did the right thing this year in going out and making sure that they have tons of weapons. Even if we have 2 wide receivers get hurt, let's say Kirk and Higgins get hurt. Well, theoretically, they'll still have CJ. They'll still have Nico. And if the Noel kid is any good, they'll have him. And then you just have your depth pieces like Mechie and I can't even think of the other guy's name out of Iowa State right now. He's not any good anyways. His name is kind of irrelevant. Can't think of his name. It slipped my mind. It's been a long day. Anyways, guys, it was fun. I'm rambling, so we're going to call it a night. Hutchinson. Thank you, Steve. I know who it is. He's irrelevant, though. I had hopes for him. I had hopes for Mechie, but I don't think either one of them is going to ever be anything more than just an end of the roster receiver. I could be wrong. They had their chances last year. Neither one of them really showed anything. Neither one of them could really get open and make plays. See, what do I have coming up tomorrow? I will be on Huhaim's channel at 4. We will be on here tomorrow night for the nightcap at 10, though. Stop by and hang out with us. Tuesday, I'm not sure if I'll be here. I think me and Hartman and Candyman are going to be doing something together again like we did last week. If so, it probably will end up being kind of late, and so I just won't. We'll see, though. I'll keep you guys informed. Follow me on Twitter if you don't. I always post my stuff over there as far as when I'm going to be live and stuff. You guys have a good night. I'll see you guys in the chat rooms tomorrow.
But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.